Wow, wow, wow. The first part of Secret Level is here, and gosh, is it good. Right out of the gate, I recommend it for anyone who enjoys animation, short stories, and video or board games. Just go for it. Secret Level takes a broad spread of famous and less popular games and gives you a short 10 to 15 minute window into their world. From Armored Core and Pac-Man through to Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer 40k, there's an absolute mixture of styles, though most tend to target that hyper-realistic looking 3D stuff, and it mostly works out quite well. There's the odd character model that, in my opinion, looks a bit off or moves strangely, like the proportions just aren't quite there. It's namely those in the D&D world and Crossfire, but beyond that, it's really hard to play critic, and it's more a case of which ones did I like the most? Who got the most bonus points from me in my personal view? So where to start? Well, I think I'm going to go in with Pac-Man. I mean, I know this franchise. Pretty much most people out there will know what Pac-Man is, even if they've never played a single video game before. It's Pac-Man, right? It's iconic. That said, I personally couldn't tell you anything about Pac-Man, bar the functionality of the game itself. Now, I have no idea if this episode on Pac-Man is an actual real rendition of the lore behind it or not, but wow, it really had me hooked. There's like this strange Tao creature on a quest to eat and devour things with an extremely sinister take on Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man. I'm not certain. It just took twists and turns that I was genuinely not expecting. And it gives me a real impulse to go ahead and read into the lore behind Pac-Man now. I'd even go as far to say it's changed my view of the simple Pac-Man game. And I think that's pretty incredible. For a short 10 to 15 minute animation to alter your opinion on something, that's pretty good. And I would say most of this first set of 8 seem to achieve that kind of level. They really open that door into their world, whether I know a lot about that world already or not, and offer up an incentive to get my imagination really flowing and spark off a desire to learn more. The Unreal Tournament one had me reminiscing when I played previous Unreal games a long time ago now, and relishing in the most modern one I played where you use teams of people, and I stuck with the robots. And it was just good fun seeing a robot featured in it, and there I am rooting for it. A, because everyone roots for the damn robot, but B, I had some personal attachment to it as well. There was a couple of others in there that sort of seemed to stand out to me. For example, the New World piece, which features Big Man Arnold himself, was oddly enjoyable. At first I was like, man, I'm not feeling this one at all. It had strange, simple, humble humour even, which seems at odds with the rest of them, which were very dark or combat heavy. But the last few moments of this animation really wrap it up nicely and give it a strong send-off. So if you start it and you're like, I don't ever want to finish this one, please do. Keeping with the theme of well-known actors, the Armored Core piece, I actually think would have worked better without Keanu Reeves. It just felt a little forced to have him in there as essentially himself. The irony of this being that the character in this animation is all about being unique, and yet his actual model is based on a real actor. It's a bit silly, but again, just like the New World, however, and D&D, to be honest, the twist at the ending of that one just got me hyped again. I was like, damn, this is real cool. And finally, let's end on the Warhammer 40,000 one, which is probably the franchise out of this first 8 I know the most about. It was so good. They absolutely nailed capturing the power fantasy of an Astartes. It's less deep on the story front, but just when it comes to combat, it was chef's kiss all around. And it wasn't just the Astartes that the team behind it did a really good job of showing off. It was even like the power of the warp. They just understood it. It was clear they knew their craft. And what was a nice thing to see across a lot of these was the artistic flair, whether it's certain camera shots to just having some fun with it and see this as more of a personal passion project than something that needs to be vetted and made acceptable for all audiences of every kind and blah, 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 until it's all really bland. This was just Let artists do what artists do best. 100% recommended. Go watch it now. I can't wait to see the rest.